Hello and welcome to the penultimate Look Who's Talking, where we will be talking about It Takes You Away. We watched this apart for the first time this series,
Yeah,
didn't
it was quite sad actually.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And then obviously, as you saw on Community, I'd drunk too much milk. Apparently that's a thing, but for whatever reason I was away.
Wasn't it?
No need to know why I was away, but I was away. And we've just come back from pizza at buffet and thought this would be the perfect time to discuss Look Who's Talking.
It's literally the worst time because I just feel tired.
Would you say you had the enthusiasm for it and then it was taken away?
It did. It did take me away. The pizza was so delicious.
So
it took me away to another realm.
So what were your thoughts on tonight's episode?
Tonight's episode.
On It Takes You Away. Let's pretend it was tonight's episode.
It was good. Again, not great. I think it's cemented to me now that this series is full of average episodes. Like there was a lot of fun stuff to it, a lot of good ideas. Possibly too many concepts, especially in a season where every episode has had a really lame concept or not a very interesting idea behind it. And this one, it was like, you've got 4 different ideas operating at once that could easily be their own episode.
So I thought, sort of breaking it down from sort of where it goes in sort of order, I thought the initial gambit was a bit strange just because it felt a bit low concept again, that, we're in here. And there doesn't seem to be a reason that they go to the house, even though it's a house. There's a level at which you could have just gone, there's some strange, suspicious activity in this house. That's why we've gone there.
It was really strange when they were like, a lodgings, but no smoke from the chimney? Better check it out. It's like, what, a house that's currently unoccupied? Like, it's not that interesting,
Yeah, that feels like a very, doctor thing, but without actually being a doctor thing. Do you know what I mean?
It wasn't actually like a mystery.
It was a hark back to, where are the eggs for the souffle?
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing where I'm always a bit ugh.
Like, they should have just answered a distress call on the psychic paper or something. Like, do you know what I mean? Just something to get us there quicker. Like, it really...
Like they did in Kablam.
Yeah.
It says help me. Easiest opening in the world.
Yeah, and I like when the doctor answers a call. It's nice.
Yeah, but this is the thing. So I thought there were some really, really cool things in the first act. Because I think this is one, for me, speaking broadly, I thought the first act was really good, and I thought the third act was really good, and the second act was what was going on.
Yeah.
So in the first act, really cool touches. The best moment in the episode by a mile is the doctor writing on the wall for the blind girl.
Yes, that was cool. That again though, that should have come in earlier. I feel like we're repeating ourselves every week, but the problem with this series has been that those average episodes in the middle have stunted all of the good stuff that's now coming in. That moment where she wrote on the wall was dark. It felt doctory. I felt like, for the first time I don't completely trust everything she says, which is cool. Why do we not get that? Episode 3, episode 4. That should have been something that happened really early on. In the same way that in Series 1 or in Series 5, really early on you've got Victory of the Daleks and Dalek, which establish the Doctor can do angry, the Doctor can do dark. Like
exactly.
You don't always have to trust him
and
or her.
It felt very... but I thought it was very tense. And scary. I liked that it was very classic Who of there's something out there, but what I liked even more was that it was revealed to obviously be a setup.
Yeah.
And that there wasn't actually a monster. Like it was they've kind of inverted the Doctor Who cliche. I'm going to skip to the end very briefly. I then thought that the reveal that it's like a universe that's lonely was quite cool. It's an interesting concept.
It's very ego in Guardians too.
Yeah, it's an inverse of the Doctor's wife as well in a way, isn't it? It's like, it's an omnipotent being that can create things. I quite like that. Like, I'm down for that. I think that's cool. My main problem is with the anti-zone section in the middle. I suppose we should...
Yeah, it was cool. It felt very Neil Gaiman.
Why was it in that episode?
But why was it in that episode? Yeah, like, they could have gone to that kind of world for a whole episode. The flesh moths, which were cool. That moment where it ate, I think it's Ribbons.
Ribbons, yeah.
Where they ate him and then you saw one of them climb out of the eye socket in his skull. I was like, that is cool. They are a threat. I want to see them again. And then they're dropped again because we go to the other side.
So this is the thing. So it sounds like we're kind of being like, we're just moaning about it, and it's like there should have been separate episodes. But there are things if that was just a straight portal from one world to another that you could do that were really cool. So we get to the other side. The grace bit is maybe even the end of Act 1, and then actually what I would have loved to have seen fleshed out more actually is the Doctor talking to the universe and being on her own.
Yeah.
For me, the biggest problem with this, and we've said this about a few episodes, is it wasn't a two-parter. Imagine if the whole episode, right, even including the anti-zone, got to the bit where they're being evacuated, and the cliffhanger is them all being pushed back into the anti-zone, under certain death under the fresh moths, and the Doctor being trapped with the universe on her own. That's a cliffhanger. Part 2, like the Impossible Planet Satan pit, the Doctor philosophically engages with the
Because you could have done a whole
universe
episode of that
just her
moment,
backing
couldn't
and
you?
forth in,
Yeah.
and they're trying to get the Doctor back, and they're stranded, and a bit like Impossible Planet, it's just like they almost give up hope, and then the Doctor pulls through at the end. Because that's what it didn't feel earned when she was like to the universe, "You're the greatest thing I've ever."
Yeah.
Like it's like you've met it for 30 seconds.
Yeah, and that's always the problem with Doctor Who one-parters. It's not like something like Daredevil or any of the CW shows where the setup is always there's a villain of the week. Like, it's not just a villain of the week, it's high concept of the week. You need to introduce that concept at the start of every single one-parter. And by the time you've done that, oftentimes there's not enough room to have a proper story. Like, it was the same thing with this one. She spends 5 minutes talking to Yaz about the idea of sentient universes, and we have to get all that business out of the way. We have to get all the business out of the way of where's the father gone with the daughter. Like, and it's all interesting, but it's all set up.
And it's all jumbled together, isn't
Yeah.
it? You know, I like the element that he's gone away and he's so consumed with grief that he's almost forgotten about his daughter. And I did think it was a really nice touch for him to not give up and it not be an emotive moment and it more be her convinced the thing that if she can only pick one.
That was
dull
really
guy,
cool.
That was the best touch of just
Yeah.
like, this guy's really dull. And the way the actress who was playing the woman just sort of like went from being like his wife to just like this compassionless,
Yeah,
pushes him
cool.
out. Also, the reveal of how Graham cracks that it's not really Grace is awesome. And when she's like, he'll be fine, like him being like, no.
It felt like a bit of a tired trope, though, of like, it's your dead, significant other, and they're trying to pull you to do this thing, but they're really not them. Like, we've seen that a million times in other sci-fi things. I think it would have been interesting, more interesting even. Grammar today. We'll get through it. Okay. What was my point?
I don't know, Matt.
Oh, right. I think it would have been more interesting if the not Grace, when Ryan was in danger, had been like, oh, we should go, but insert compelling reason why we have to stay that would make it feel like she could be Grace. Whereas her just going, oh no, leave him, he'll be fine. It's like, well, you're instantly not Grace, are
And
you?
actually, she did that twice. She did it the first time, didn't she? She went, don't go and find him.
Yeah.
And like, it was a bit like, how has he not clocked this already? And then they did it again.
Yeah.
They could have done that once and it would have been good. And I have to commend it though, for a few reasons. One, as you said earlier, it was the most high concept episode of the season. So a season that we've said a lot of the concepts have been low rent. There was a lot of ideas going on here. And
But again,
also,
too many.
Also, yeah, too many. I'd rather though, you know what? It more felt like a sort of dodgy Moffat episode in that there was 100 things thrown at a wall and most of them didn't stick. It felt a bit like The Beast Below, which is a bit of a shamble, a bit of a mess. And actually, as you say, they were all really, really usable concepts. I would have had a whole episode in that just her and the.
Yeah.
Well, should we talk about the frog?
Mr.
Toad. Sorry, for those of you who watched The Office,
Yeah, I actually wonder how many people who watch this have seen The Office. Like, I'd really like to know the percentile.
Yeah, exactly.
So
and
we
I'd
can
like to
start
know,
making random Office references.
I'd like to know how many of them said Mr. Toad. I couldn't believe it. Are you going to pick on someone? Pick on Graham. His wife's dead.
It's not all Office references, Marvel references, different needs.
See, when me and Matt get on camera, I mean, it's like, gag there, gag there, gag there. I'd say I'm more character based than he's sort of the gag man. But
there's no straight man. There's no dead weight.
No, there's no dead weight. No.
Just gag off to gag, isn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, back to Doctor Who.
Moonshow tequilas later.
And we're back to Doctor Who. Oh, good God. But I didn't mind the frog. I think it's quite cool.
It came off a bit weird. Like, we weren't sure if it was CGI or a puppet.
I think it was CGI.
I thought it was a puppet at first just because of how badly it was moving its mouth and how out of sync it was.
I don't know why it had Grace's voice. That was a bit weird.
Yeah.
But I thought it was cool. It was a cool way of what Doctor Who can do well, which is get around its budget. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
The other thing that I thought was a really neat touch, which we don't really have any organic way to slot in, but did you notice his shirt was backwards in the parallel universe?
Yes, that
was
cool.
awesome.
That was cool.
I thought that was really awesome.
Yeah,
When I clocked that, I was like, oh, that's a neat little thing.
And it's a nice touch they don't dwell on.
And she's got the Arctic Monkey shirt on.
Yeah.
Which I think's cool.
Yeah.
Which is probably why that girl. I know obviously she's blind. She wouldn't recognise the shirt off.
Well, they talk about it, don't they?
Yeah.
It was nice, and it had heart to it. The parental stuff reminded me a bit of Night Terrors in a good way.
Yeah.
One of the better Gatiss episodes. But it just. I feel like I don't. I sound like a broken record, but it is a bit too little, too late at this point. Like, I was kind of hoping there'd be a setup in this episode to some sort of finale, and it was again like a bottle episode.
Yeah.
So what is actually happening in the finale that's going to tie everything together this season? We've kind of had the arcs this week. Like Graham was finally called Granddad by Ryan. Graham kind of let go of Grace, although I feel like he was never really hung up on Grace's death, so that feels like an arc that just got established and was then
And
resolved.
actually, we're going to sound like narcissists here, but we were rewatching the first episode and we attacked Ryan quite a lot and said he was the weakest character. And actually, I think over the course of the series, he's had the best arc, and they've probably developed him the most of all the. What?
What does that make
Well, we're rewatching all the episodes of Look Who's Talking.
Oh right,
We
yeah.
should be rewatching that. It's just
There's nothing
lame.
wrong with doing that, you know.
No, but and you all should too. I
Binge it,
Yeah.
you know. Get a glass of milk, sit down, get a little cozy, get a little weird maybe.
So yeah, I think Ryan's probably had the best arc personally of
He
the three
seemed-
characters.
Out of all three of them, he's the one that's changed the most. He went from being quite dour to being quite happy, and he's smiling a lot more. And I feel like he has become more likeable as the series has gone on. He went from being probably my least favourite companion to probably my favourite now.
Yeah, I think he's probably my favourite. I mean, I do have a soft spot for Graham, but there's not really been a development. He's just more the gag man.
I do
They're
worry
not-
that it's just Bradley Walsh though, and I like Bradley Walsh because what can you really say about him? He's always the voice of reason, and he's always got some speech to give one of the other companions to push them through. But in terms of a character, what can you really tell me about him?
And I think he's got braver. That's the only difference. I think it was quite cool that he was on the lookout on his own for the mirror and stuff.
Yeah, but I feel like he was still that man in the pilot. The woman who fell to earth. Please don't comment. That I think the difference with that was he wanted to get Grace and Ryan to safety.
Yeah. In the finale, though, to be fair, it looks like finally we'll see that thing that they've been milking in the trailers. In the trailers of like the little CGI robot thing in his head.
I worry that episode's gonna wrap up and it won't feel like a finale.
I mean, especially given they've got a special in literally like 3 weeks, so almost they don't need a finale.
I'm kind of half hoping that whatever happens, that episode doesn't get resolved and then it gets resolved in New Year's, so we get like a proper story.
So should we talk about the trailer? It looks
For the finale?
Yeah, it looks alright. I mean, obviously we've not seen it. Chibnall could knock it out the park.
It doesn't look like a finale though, does it?
I'm pretty sure Tim Shaw's coming back.
What, the voice?
Yeah, that voice does sound like Tim Shaw, which I think is a bit lame because I thought it was cool in Ghost Monument that they laid the grounds for the Stents being a big threat. But given they've not existed now for 8 episodes, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
If they come back, it's not like they've earned it. I thought it would have been really cool if every week it had been like, oh, they scourged this part. Oh, just a backhand reference.
And he's not developed enough to be the big bad of the season.
No.
He's not the big bad. Even if he comes back, he's not been the big bad of the season. There's been no big bad.
No, it's been the scripts, if anything. I'd say they're the big bad of
It's
this
just
season.
like when Chibnall said there was no arc, I thought what he meant was more in like a Series 8 way of the arc, like the actual plot arc of the Promised Land. All that is so light; it's barely in the series. What is there is Clara's relationship with Danny Pink, how that affects the Doctor, his
exactly.
death, bringing it back. Like that's a strong arc. Like that's a heavy arc. But I thought it would be something like that where the companions are going through some sort of struggle as the series goes on, which I guess was supposed to be Grace's death, but they don't call back to it enough.
No, and it feels a bit like when you actually think of her appearances. So she's in episode 1, episode 4, and then episode 9. It's real weird. Bit of a weird.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I was happy about the episodes being reduced initially, because I thought it would give us some really quality. But actually, it does feel like there's still more stories to tell, and we're already at the finale. I don't know whether that's just because we're used to it. I mean, obviously Moffat cut down the episode count in series 8 to 12 episodes, but it didn't ever feel like you were.
No, you didn't feel like you noticed that.
No, whereas this, I feel like I've visibly noticed, especially because if we're doing it on a bell curve, it goes like that, and then it's just started to upshoot again, and then I just feel like
And we're already over.
it's going to end with a whimper, I think, as well.
I mean, if it was a 13-episode run, this would give me enough confidence to say, 10, 11, 12 and 13 might be great.
And also, like, Series 3 has that same thing. It's a bit patchy, and then from episode 8 onwards, it's like some of the best episodes of the show ever. And so I don't necessarily think that, but if we're taking out choice cuts from this season, which at this stage we kind of can. I mean, what am I actually going to return to and watch? I mean, my favourite of this season's either been Arachnids, Witchfinders, or Woman Who Fell to Earth.
But
And
none of it's
them
stuff
been-
that I really want to rewatch.
Well, yeah, we said last week, didn't we? We've been rewatching Series 10, and I would take something like World Enough in Time and The Doctor Falls over any episode this season. To be honest, I'd take something like Extremis over anything this season.
Yeah.
And in Season 7, I'd take Angels Take Manhattan over anything this season. There's nothing here that normally when you get, at least every season, you get a choice cut that you're like, I'm going to watch that again a lot. and it's always the one that you show to new people. And
I feel like I would watch The Woman Who Fell to Earth again, but it would be a bit bittersweet because all the promise in that first episode didn't really quite come to fruition. So I don't know on that basis how much I'd want to rewatch it. I just don't think there's a lot to chew on this season. Like, it's been okay, but I think in some ways that's kind of worse. Like, if it had been a terrible season and we were sitting here bashing it every week like we were with Tsaranga, then maybe it would have been a bit more entertaining or a bit more memorable. But I feel like as soon as this series is done, I won't think about it again.
I never
That's
want
sad.
it to be bad. I think that's the problem is, at least even when Doctor Who in Classic was getting terrible, with Sylvester McCoy, you were getting such awful episodes like Battlefield.
Yeah.
And so like that at least they were laughably, and they were fun, and they're just super camp and super dated. Whereas like, what is this?
But like, if it was really bad to the point where it was really a crisis, then I feel like we'd get a refreshed take next year. But it's done fairly well critically, not done brilliantly. The ratings haven't been amazing.
No.
I feel like it's just sort of soldiered on from the Moffat era. So I think we're going to get more of the same next year. I think we're going to get okay stories, but nothing to shout home about. I mean, maybe we'll get something better, but it
exactly.
it worries me that this is his series 5.
And you got to think as well, like, obviously, Chibnall couldn't do what we do, which is sit and critique the show. And obviously
it takes a lot of effort.
Actually, we could do what he do. And I think we could probably do it better. And I think that's what spurs him on. Sorry, another Office reference there. Probably alienating our fan base even further.
Chibnall would not be able to sit here and chat. I was going to swear, but you've told me specifically not to swear this week. So just imagine, he'd chat. Is that okay?
About Doctor Who. I mean,
it's really difficult, I mean, like, we have to fill up 2 chalices of milk, and
I'd really like to clarify.
I have to spend time with Chris.
To the guy who's commented on several of these, going, "Oh, bet there's alcohol in there." That there actually isn't.
And to the people saying this is, gentleman's relish. Am I allowed to say that?
Gentleman's relish.
Well, I couldn't say,
Yeah. Then they're absolutely correct. Oh god. So overall, I think so far, I mean, I give this episode a low semi-skimmed. I don't think it's bad. It's just, again, meh.
Really interesting ideas, but I could have done with a whole episode of them in the Upside Down fighting flesh moths. I could have done that for a whole episode. That was interesting. Could have done a whole episode of the parallel universes. To be honest, when the initial setup happened and they were like, "There's something out there. We're trapped in a house," I was like, "I'm down for this. This is genuinely that roaring sound was creepy." Could have done that. Could have done with basically 3 episodes out of this rather than Tsaranga and Demons of the Punjab.
So
just delete those.
What you're sorry, Sideman. So what you're saying is that whilst it was good, there's no way that you'll be revisiting it anytime soon. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying. Oh. I would not say that.
Okay.
I wouldn't insert Norway inorganically into a sentence. Oh. I'd just say there's no way.
Well, on that note, thank you for watching Look Who's Talking. Hopefully the doors will be closing soon. Usually Matt does the sign-offs, but I've commandeered it. So goodbye, everyone.
Don't forget to click below and subscribe to the official Full Fat Videos YouTube channel.